Hello guys, how are you doing? It's your own boy Guy. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are doing fine. Myself, I'm perfectly fine. I'm doing this video to answer Mark Aurel. Not the great philosopher Mark Aurel, but I think this is one of the follower or one of my followers on my YouTube channel. Even though Mark Aurel is a great name, maybe that's why I'm deciding to answer to him directly, because of, you know, it reminds me of a great philosopher and I'm a fan of philosophy. Anyway, Mark Aurel, the question of Mark Aurel was, is it possible to help him to obtain what we are calling here invitation letter? For those who are not aware of it, from my understanding, the invitation letter, it's a document where you can see the reason why you're going to a country, maybe who's going to receive you in that country, your purpose in that country. And usually people coming to the Philippines are looking for the invitation letter. When I say people coming to the Philippines, it's not something that I have read officially in the government, you know, immigration as a requirement. But I have here a lot of people like Mark Aurel looking for that coming to the Philippines. And that's why I decided to share a little bit of my knowledge on that and what I've heard about it. Again, what I'm going to say here is subjective, it's my personal opinion, in my personal experience, and based on what I've also heard around. But before, I'm going to start with a little story so that you will have a little bit context of why I'm decided to give you this story, and probably you will relate that to your case right now. You know, couple months, no, well, not couple months, but couple years ago when I was about to finish my study, I was supposed to downgrade my visa. So basically, if you're a student and you decide to work in the Philippines, you will have to go through the downgrade of your visa first, meaning to say, from student, you go down to tourist, and then from tourist, you jump to worker. But it's not possible to move from student to worker directly, so you always have to downgrade your visa. Even if you are changing company, for example, if you are holding a 9G visa and you decide to work for another company, you have to downgrade your visa to tourist first, and then from there you need to move to the new company who will give you a new visa. Same thing for several other type of visa. So I was in the situation where I had a student visa and I was about to work, so I had to downgrade my visa. But the problem is I had a little bit overstay, meaning to say my student visa was already expired, and a lot of questions was going on my mind. Will it be okay to go to the immigration? How much will I pay there? Will it be okay for them to know that I was a little bit overstaying here without getting, you know, mad or, you know, facing very difficult sanction from the Bureau of Immigration? So actually I was a little bit afraid, and a lot of questions was going on my mind. What are they going to ask me there and stuff like that? Are they not even going to expose me, right? So I had a lot of questions, and at a certain point I was getting a lot of information, different information from a lot of people, telling me also like, okay, this is what I have done, this is what I have done, and almost everything was kind of different from one person to another person. And you know what? I just decided to go to the Bureau of Immigration, ask them, okay, this is my situation. What should I do in order for me to have my visa downgrade? I want to change my status from student to worker. What's the process? And this is my current status. And surprisingly, the answer was straightforward. They just tell me, this is what you have to pay since you have done some overstay already here. This is the amount that you'll have to pay, and blah, blah, blah. They give me all the detail, hand off the document to me, and I just had to go and look for all the requirement that was given to me. And for several months, I was just like thinking, brainstorming, afraid, while I could have just go straight there and ask the information. So why I'm saying that to you? Because you are not the first person asking about that invitation letter. And you know, personally, I have heard a lot of people losing money because random person seeing that kind of message that you're sending will get in touch with them and tell them, oh, I see your message that you're looking for an invitation letter for the Philippines. I can help you. And you desperately, maybe desperately, or I don't know, you don't know where to go, or you will probably, some, not you for necessarily, but some have spent a lot of money for that invitation letter, giving money to people who have nothing to do with immigration or with the Bureau of Immigration, who know nothing about invitation letter. They will just probably draft something in the house through the computer, put some fake stamp, and send it to you. And you, when you come here in the Philippines at the airport, they look at that document and they say, this is a bullshit. I mean, this document is not valid. You cannot enter the country. They will reject you. And that's the story of a lot of people here coming to the Philippines. So to answer straight your question, It's good to ask if somebody can know how to process that, just to gather some information and compare them. But my advice for you will always look for officials, you know, like for example, officials in the Bureau of Immigration, officials in the country where you're going, official representation of whatever country you're going. This is not just applicable for the Philippines, but for the world, wherever you're going in general. Go directly to the point. I mean, if there is something that is requested from an official government, if you are getting it from a tierce person, at the end of the day, it will come down to be fake, and they will know that it's fake because it's not coming from them. If there is any penalty, anything to face, you cannot run away from that. The only thing that you can do by not going straight there is just losing a lot of money, and losing twice. So the advice that I'm going to give to you, because that's what you're looking for, is that first of all, the invitation letter, for me, I don't think it's a requirement, it's a must. I don't think it's a must. It's really case by case. I'm not going to say that never somebody has, I mean, it was never asked to someone an invitation letter, but a lot of people enter the Philippines without an invitation letter. But now, it's important to know that you need to have a good reason why you're coming to the Philippines. You need to have a good and valid reason. Among several other things that you need to prepare, you need to have a good reason and be able to justify the reason why you are want to enter the Philippines. And the invitation letter can be one of the reasons that help you justify, right? Let's say, for example, you're coming here because a church or, I don't know, an organization invite you, a school. A school can formulate a letter, duly write and signed by the Bureau of Immigration and maybe some official here from that school, and hand it off to you, so that when you're coming in the Philippines, it's easy for the Bureau of Immigration at the airport to know the exact detail of the people or the person or the organization waiting for you here in the Philippines. But asking an invitation letter for a TS person who's not necessarily affiliated to any organization, not an official of one organization, will probably just do a fake document saying that it's from a certain organization. You not been here in the Philippines, you will believe that, and once you come here in the Philippines, it's problematic. Myself, I always say to come here, I mean, in most of the country where you go, there are a few things that are like always required in general. Make sure that you have a visa before arriving in that country. Now, not all the countries require a visa before taking the plane, but sometimes in the Philippines, they will require a visa on arrival. Several countries require a visa on arrival. But it's not because they're asking you the visa on arrival, it means that they cannot reject you the entry once you arrive in the airport. Because a lot of people say, okay, my country's free visa, I can just get a plane and go there. No. You can get your plane, go there, but if you don't have a valid reason at the airport, they will still reject you, despite that you're visa free, your country is visa free. So make sure that your country, if you have an embassy, go to the embassy near your country or in your country, request a visa there. If not, make sure that you can have a visa on arrival here in the Philippines. The second thing, make sure that you have enough money for anything. In case your flight is your entry is denied, in case you have to photocopy your paper, in case you need to give a call, in case, make sure that you have enough cash for any situation. The third thing is accommodation. What are you going to do in that country? That's basic, simple question that I think in every airport they will ask that to you. If they don't ask, that probably means that in your document there is already something that's explaining that clearly. Let's say, for example, you have a visa already for, I don't know, for Japan, for Philippines in your passport before boarding the plane. They will not ask you much question because they know that wherever you got that visa, question was already asked to you. But when you have like your country is a visa free, they're going to ask you a lot of questions once you arrive in the airport before entering the country. That's where they give you a stamp, right? Similar on when you were getting your visa from the country where you were of your departure. So that's the third thing for me. Know exactly what you're going to say, what you're going to do, and can you justify all your say, everything that you're saying, can you justify that? I'm going to live in this hotel, you have a document of that hotel, valid. I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to go to this place, do you have the itinerary? When I go to Japan, usually when I go to Japan with my wife, they ask me an itinerary where I'm going. You know, you need to know. You just don't going to come here and say, okay, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to visit. Try to build a plan. I mean, where exactly are you going, right? So make sure that you have a stay, valid stay. Make sure that you know where you're going, or justifying exactly what you're going to do when you're entering the country. And the last thing is, as much as possible, if possible, have a contact here in the Philippines. Try to have a contact. I mean, I'm not saying here that the contact will be the one, you know, granting you the access to the country, but I have seen a lot of cases where people arrive in the airport, they're stuck, and they just call and ask maybe somebody to talk on their behalf to the Bureau of Immigration. It's not always like that, but it can happen that they want to talk to somebody that you know here, and maybe they want to ask him further question to know what is his status here, what is he doing, or whatever you're saying is true. I give you an example that I already give several times. When I was going in the Philippines, my relative arrived here, and then they had to talk to me. They asked my relative to call me, and they got the phone, start talking to me. The same thing applied with my mom. My mom arrived in the airport, the phone was low bat for some reason, and luckily she had my number by you know, she had my number with her. She gave the number, they were able to call me, and I say, yes, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Your mom is here in the airport, and then I think the phone is low bat, and she wasn't speaking English. So from that moment, I started to talk a little bit on her behalf, and then it made things easy. So these are some basic things that you need. And of course, in the Philippines, there are a lot of other things that, like you know, the health things that you have to file online. This is just on the context in the Philippines. But my message here is that as much as possible, get information from the source. Get information from the source. When I say get information from the sources, go to the 3W, I think, Bureau of Immigration.ph, that's something, I'm afraid to say something wrong, but you know the Bureau of Immigration, you can go online, see a lot of information there. I don't know from which country you are, but if there is a representation of that country, of the Philippines or whatever country you're going in your country right now, go there and ask. You know, usually we are just afraid of asking questions because you're thinking, okay, maybe if I go there, I'm missing this, or I'm in this situation, they will just, you know, on my case, for example, they'll put me in jail, they will just, you know, do this to me, do that to me. But at the end of the day, even in this official government, it's the human that are there, you know, people that are working there are human. They are not just there to make life of people hard, right? At the end of the day, you can just go, you ask an information, the information is given to you. Now, I understand that if you're coming from Africa, because Mark Orel, well, I don't really know where you're coming from, but specifically if you're coming from Cameroon or some country in the central part of Africa, sometimes there is no representation of Philippines government there. There is no consulate, there is no embassy, so it's very complicated. But that's also the moment that a lot of people are taking advantage of you guys. So by just offering you fake things, by offering fake documents, by offering things that are not even relevant, and just getting your money and running away, and at the end of the day you just left like this without nothing. So maybe if I knew the country where you were coming from, I would have to give you a lot of more detail, but that's the only thing I can give as a general information. The invitation letter is not a must. It's not a must. I have been in this country without an invitation letter. I have one or two persons who came recently without any invitation letter, but it doesn't mean that you don't need that. But if somebody is able to give you an invitation letter, you should also first make sure of that person. Meaning to say, if today I say I can send you an invitation letter, are you sure about me? Are you sure about the company where I'm working for? Are you sure that I'm affiliated to this organization that I'm going to write on your invitation letter? How sure are you? You are not, right? That's why rather than get an invitation letter, go straight to the Bureau of Immigration, ask some information. If you don't know, on the internet, I'm telling you, there are so many general things that are needed. And most of the time, once you have them, the rest is just case by case. And again, I can repeat that for you. Make sure that you have your passport valid for 6 months. Make sure that you have a flight ticket back and forth from the departure and then the origin. Make sure that you have a back and forth flight ticket. Make sure that you have a valid reservation at hotel where you're going to stay. Make sure that you have an itinerary of where of your stay in that country. Make sure that you have, if there is any health certificate and stuff that you need to file, because things are changing. Make sure you get update of that, of this health certificate. Make sure you have a valid explanation of your stay in the Philippines, and you can justify. You can justify your stay in the Philippines. If you want to come from a school, get document from that school directly and make sure that it's with you from the official of the school. If you're coming here from work, make sure that you have a document from the company who's going to hire you, not the TS person, directly from the company who's going to hire you. I think if you can secure this basic stuff, then for me, you're already good to have your chance to enter, because it's not guaranteed, especially if it's visa-free on arrival. You have your chance to enter the country. Now, it's subjective. The person in front of you can talk to theirs, to him or her. She feels like there are some incoherence on what you're saying. They deny the entry. They can look at you, maybe the way you're expressing yourself doesn't sound correct. They deny the entry. So there is no perfect word or perfect document. But coming to that invitation letter again, be careful on asking that like that to anyone if they can help you, because a lot of people there have spent a lot of money on that and nothing good was coming out of it. So anyway, I hope I was able to answer your concern, Mark, Aurel. I don't know from where you are or from where you're watching, but thank you for watching and thank you for asking that question. If you guys have more questions, keep asking like Mark, Aurel. If I can answer, I will not hesitate. I'm not from the Bureau of Immigration, but I'm just sharing my experience. While waiting, take good care of yourself. Keep watching, keep liking, more importantly, keep subscribing. Libala.